A good story is a story that tells the truth about the world, and that tells the truth in a way that recognizes the way the world works as God has created it to work. And obviously that does mean that there are good books that are written by good stories that are written by non-Christians, because even non-Christians know how the world works. As much as they might want to deny it, they still know that up is up and down is down, and things fall when you drop them, and the sun is yellow, and that things work in a certain way, and that good triumphs over evil. Most people don't want to read a story where evil wins in the end. Even non-Christians, that's no fun. It's not enjoyable, because that's not the way God has created the world. That's not the way his story works. And so good stories are stories that reflect that story in some way. And that's why fairy tales, I think, are some of the best stories, because they reflect the way God has created the world. What is the ultimate story, right? The ultimate story of the Bible is the great prince coming to rescue his bride from the evil dragon, right? Which is a fairy tale. And every fairy tale in the history of the world has reflected that story. And so the Bible obviously is the first great collection of true stories, and true in more ways than just they really happened, which they did, but they give us this foundation of all of these archetypes that we see then throughout the history of the world popping up again and again in different ways. And so a good story is one that reflects that in some way, and God shows his grace and mercy in that he gives that ability to recognize those stories to non-Christians, to unbelievers, and which is why we can gain from them. A lot of the books that we're reading in this course were written by Christians, which is makes them even more rich and deep, because these authors are consciously recognizing the fact that God is God, and that they are imitating him in their creating these stories. But we can see these stories throughout the history of the world from various places that reflect the way the world really is, and reflect the true, the good, and the beautiful, because we do live in a world that God created, and we do live in a story that he is writing.